Hey, so this is gonna be a video that I haven't done in a while where I don't have the webcam on, and I don't know, I figure what I'm gonna be showing is not really going to that it's probably just gonna get in the way visually anyway, as well as it's hot today and our AC stopped, well, didn't necessarily stop working, but started having problems yesterday, so it's pretty hot in here. Um It's pretty hot and stuffy in here, but I don't feel like putting the light on. So, you can actually see me with the webcam. So it's like I figure, what's the point? Uh, just leave it off. But um, so what I planned on doing in this video was kind of what Rudy did in a few of his recent videos, which is like kind of looking at some of my like well, I guess older as well as recent, like quote unquote visual art, graphic art stuff, if that's the proper way to put it or whatever. I guess in this case it would be all digital art stuff like sprites and whatever you want to call that, like 2D pixel art sprites. I guess that's probably a better way to put it. And other things like that. Just as a, I don't know, just a little showcase of some of that stuff. Uh, I don't have any, I don't have like any, hand drawn stuff like drawn on a pencil and paper and shit like that to show, at least not yet. Um, so I might as well show some of the digital stuff that I've done, but, I guess while we're doing this kind of thing, I might as well just look at, what was it? Some of the recent stuff I've baked some. I mean, I baked and cooked a lot of shit somewhat recently. So, but I don't know. I made these like one thing called the Mexican wedding cookies. Another called them like snowball cookies. There were only like four ingredients in them, but they were actually pretty good. Primarily like butter, flour, ground, some kind of any kind of ground like nut, um, and powdered sugar, and then powdered sugar on the outside when they're done. Baking and stuff. They're pretty good. As well as these ginger snap cookies, which are basically like, it's kind of hard to distinguish them from like just a gingerbread cookie. I guess it has less of maybe a gingerbread cookie has a few more spices put into it, whereas these have more just straight ginger and cinnamon and stuff. But pretty good. They came out good. Uh, Snickerdoodle muffins. Yeah, these were pretty okay. They didn't look like muffins in the end, but they came out all right. Um, and I made a bunch of other stuff, but I don't feel like showing all that shit. I don't think anybody really cares. Um, all right, now I have to. All my shit is kind of like all strewn about to an extent. Like I have it mostly in this sort of same general area, but yeah, it's kind of all over the place. I think this is where a lot of my older stuff is, the stuff that I originally was kind of messing with. Uh, um, that is probably most of the stuff that I did like hand drawn or whatever you want to call it, hand pixelated. Uh, no, this is like mostly reference stuff. Um, well, actually, I forgot about these. I made these like kind of, yeah, actually that's not a terrible way to show some of this actually. Um yeah, so I was making a bunch of like texture assets and sprites and stuff to basically be used in this kind of like fork of the main Daggerfall Unity kind of like code base that I was trying to make like almost like a custom fork of that, like a whole bunch of like modified shit. Not like a proper mod or anything, but just kind of like my own custom stuff. And I worked on it for a little while, and I made some interesting things with it. But in the end, after a while, I just decided I'm like, it's better to just kind of try to do proper mods more than anything. I think because then it can be enjoyed more easily by others rather than having to use a completely separate fork and all that bullshit. Yeah. I'd probably still eventually consider some kind of custom fork thing. Um, but yeah. But I made a lot of stuff kind of just playing around, like these books. These books I didn't make um like basically the base graphics of like any of it. I think if my mouse, yeah. So this green one up here is the base game in game, the base like spellbook sprite used for the spellbook item, and I just changed the I just used the I don't know what you call it, what is it called, color correction, not even correction, or whatever it's called, whatever it's called, where you could take a color and say like some kind of photo editing program and then change all the colors of that same color or whatever to something different. And I just kind of played around with a bunch of colors to make different variants of that. And I think a lot of them came out pretty decent looking, at least. Um, the vanilla ones for these book ones are this brown one, this brown backed one, and this green backed one that has like the either reflected or whatever you'd call that. And the rest I just did the same thing with the recoloring. And then these ones were technically brand new, I believe. Yeah, these ones are technically brand new. I just edited it. I just edited them to from this from that original spellbook one to basically just stack it on top of itself a few times and like extend the spines graphics to be similar. I think it looks okay, like all things considered. It's just like a thicker book. And this one, I believe the vanilla one is this, which is actually the sprite for the artifact, the Ogma Infinium, the book that gives you like just a massive amount of attributes to distribute. They technically, I mean, I guess it's strong in all of the games that you can get the thing, but in Daggerfall, it's pretty crazy. You get like 100 points of attributes to or some shit to distribute. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, I just recolored some of these other ones. That's an example of the books. So that's not really anything I did custom, but you know, I don't know what you'd call it, just like editing, image editing more than like actual, you know, doing it yourself kind of shit. Uh, these ones, there's a lot of ones that I did by sort of by hand. These gems, I basically, I believe I took a lot of them and then downscaled them from some fucking images I found on Google for like various like gems and shit, and I just kind of like downscaled them. So that wasn't really anything I did, um, technically. But a lot of these ingredients that I made, um, some of them, many of them were just kind of like edits, slight modifications of existing ones, or just existing sprites that are in game and then like cut up to kind of meet um the uh the need that I wanted to make them to be or some shit. and you can see a lot, most of them are pretty fucking rough, pretty fucking rough. But it's a lot of just like slight slight edits of existing assets that are in the game and stuff. As you can see, these three I did, but then somebody on the Discord that was better at like just art in general kind of stuff. He decided to just like do his own version of like three of them, and I put those on there. But I did technically try some of these, but they just looked kind of ugly. The versions I made. As you can see, a lot of these are just like really rough approximation, or really rough like versions of say like some kind of like fruit and stuff. Like I think this one's a pomegranate, this one's a pear, orange, lime, lemon look like fucking footballs, kiwi. I don't know what I forget what I got those original like things from. I think there was something in the game that I took those from. Probably something like this, and this is like some fucking mushrooms I tried to make, like, and then I just like flipped this 90 degrees and just plopped it on that this like mushroom stalk uh thing. These are a few things I tried to do by hand. These gems, and they look pretty bad, as one would expect. A lot of my edits, these things I made. This was probably the most. Actually, I don't know. This one, the flowers, I'm actually pretty happy with. I did some these ones look like shit. Whatever these were supposed to be, something like net uh cotton, some kind of plant. I forget what the hell it was supposed to be. That had this weird like stock arrangement and stuff. But these two, this blue one and this pink and like purple one, those ones I think I basically hand drew entirely, which I think actually came out better than at the time, especially came out better than I expected. Like the leafy part or the green like stalk part looked kind of shitty for that, but the actual like petal part looks not too bad. Looks not too bad, and the what do they call those? The fuck the reproductive parts of the actual plant. I forget what they're called. Like where the insects and the pollinators actually go to get like whatever nectar and shit and pollen. Those parts came out all right. Um, but those ones I did by hand, basically entirely. But I did use reference for both of them. Like I was looking at pictures of the flowers I was trying to make. So yeah, they weren't straight from my head. But those came out better than I expected, considering these are like some of the first pixel art things I'd ever done. Some of these I did a little bit by hand, like the some of these mushrooms a little bit by hand. I tried to make like a stinkhorn mushroom out of like one of these other mushrooms, and it looks kind of neat. It was hard with the resolution I was working with to like I don't know make like a mesh kind of thing, like how these stinkhorn mushroom like uh was it? Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Stinkhorn mushroom. Basically, this kind of like the fuck could you call it? Like a mesh net, not net. I don't know what the hell you call it. This like mesh membrane thing that these mushrooms have. I was trying to make that in like with pixels, and yeah, it was little bit rough, but I think it kind of got the idea. Definitely not that pretty looking. Um, but for like rough things, I think they weren't too terrible. Uh, I think they would get the job done enough if I did say use them in game or some bullshit like that. Let's see. Those are the ingredients. I did a whole bunch of these miscellaneous items that were mostly just I don't think I a few of them I like sort of hand pixelated or whatever you call it, like hand drew to some extent like a lot from reference like this fishing pole thing I did like some of it by hand. I think this compass or watch thing I did by hand. Some of these I did by hand, like this sewing kit thing. That was for another mod. Um, did most of it by hand, but I used like one or two parts at the top for from the game already. Like just kind of stitched together something from that was existed already. It's like Matchbox. Think I sort of did by hand for the most part. I think a lot of these were taken from the game, as you could probably clearly tell the ones that I did by hand or try to do by hand or whatever. Like they just kind of don't look right compared to some of the original assets and shit. This like hip flask I tried to make that was like by hand, and yeah, it looks pretty terrible, but it's got a little bit of shading going on. This doesn't showcase the best some of these things. This stupid Microsoft image viewer thing, like it kind of compresses them when you like zoom in. So it's really not a perfect representation of some of them. And a lot of these were just taken from the game. What the fuck was this one? There was like a painter's palette thing I tried to make. I don't know if I think I took that from something and then I tried to make the painter's palette with it or something. I forget what the hell it was. This Rubik's Cube, I think I took from some Rubik's Cube online, and then I just tried to change like a lot of the colors to be look like a more like a wooden color thing rather than like the red, green, blue that they would have on a normal Rubik's Cube or some shit. I don't know if these eyeglasses, these spectacles or whatever. I don't know if I did that by hand. I think I feel like I did. I think I did. Um, yeah, I think I did. I made a few other things. Yeah, but most of them are just like basically ripped in some way from the game's original assets and just kind of like modified slightly to be a single object. Like a lot of these like instruments just came from like existing sprites, like people playing instruments, and then I just kind of like edited them and tried to like save their hand was on like this flute or some shit. I had to like fill in the spots where the hand was, stuff like that. That was all that miscellaneous shit. Drug items. These ones, I think almost all of them, not all of them, but most of them I did. Actually, no. A lot of them were kind of like modified things like this indulcet or whatever. This was that was from like a cup, and then I filled it with some shit. This stuff, sursum, was from like the like pile of coals or some shit, and I just changed the color so it looks more like a pile of something like a plant matter. This was from the original. Yeah, this was the originally sprite from the game. This was a modified version of something else. This was a modified version of something else. This the same, but I just recolored it. This one I think I did by hand. The skooma bottle. This one I was actually pretty happy with. I did it from reference from like probably probably Skyrim, probably Skyrim skooma bottle model. Yeah, I'm almost certain that's what I tried to model it, or I'm almost certain that's exactly what I was trying to use as the reference. I believe that. I think it came out all right. The shading is definitely off, but I think for what it is, that was probably the best one. This one was like a just a fucking stick, like an incense stick. This one I also took from the Sleeping Tree Sap. This was also Sleeping Tree Sap Skyrim. This I also tried to model it after, or whatever the fuck, draw it based on this, the model from Skyrim. And it definitely doesn't look that great. Does not look, to me, does not look nearly as good as the skooma bottle, but it does work. It does work. Those are the drugs. And then the last ones I believe I did, at least in this frame of time, was this jewelry. Um, and this jewelry, I think I used basically all of it. Um, in that mod, I made jewelry editions. These gems were mostly from just straight kind of stuff from Google Image, like probably like one singular like reference sheet for a bunch of like gems or some shit, and then I just took them and then like modified them slightly to look more like lower resolution, pretty much to match the style a bit more. Yeah, it's definitely not great, the selection I made, but hey, it's better than some of the other ones I'd been looking at. These crowns were both from the vanilla game, I believe. I just took them from the silver one, I believe. I think, and the book. I think the silver and the gold were original sprites. I could be wrong. It might have been. It could be that just the gold one, and then I made the silver one, but it. I don't know. I'm not certain there. But then I did these edits with the gemstones. I added those gemstones and shit. So that's the part that I changed there. These tiaras were originally sprites from somewhere in the game. Uh, I don't know if it was both silver and gold, and I don't even remember. I think they're just in some kind of like loot pile sprite or some bullshit, just like a miscellaneous assortment of stuff. Um, but then I made all of the edits to the two variants of silver and gold to have gemstones on them. Some look better than others. Uh, I liked how the garnet gem color kind of looked in the end more than probably most of them. Even though I think a lot of them look decent, I think the garnet one is probably my favorite. Just that deep red is very striking. It's a very striking kind of color, and it looks good on the back, and it looks good in contrast to this gold and silver color being used for most of the stuff. These bracelets, there is this, is that what they called it, a bracer or bracelet? These bracelets originally didn't have any of these like weird gemstones. They look pretty ugly. I'll say that they don't look great, but once again, it's one of those things like it works. But originally, yeah, this was an in-game sprite, and I just added the gemstones because the in-game sprite has none of these the gemstones or whatever. It just has that the thing behind it basically. Um, these rings, I took the gold ring comes from some artifact in game, and I just took the loop and I just cut off was on the top of it. Basically, it's not even like a fucking perfect circle. I think I tried the quote unquote perfect circle. I think I tried to make it like a perfect circle, and I just couldn't get it to look not weird. So it's kind of like at a slightly askew angle almost. That's what it's trying to go for. It does look a little weird. It looks better with the gemstone on it, at least. It kind of covers up that weird looking that weird lookingness. But yeah, the silver didn't exist. The gold did. I just made the silver, I believe, and just changed it. And then I added the gemstone by hand, and then I changed all the colors. These earrings. I think yeah, I'm certain I made these all by hand. And these amulets, I think I basically made these by hand, and I just use. I think the um what do they call that? The chain part that goes around your neck, the chain part. I think that was from something else in game. Yeah, and I think I just changed the color. But then the gemstone in the amulet is pretty much just hand drawn to an extent. Not that it was much hand drawing. It was just kind of like changing the color slightly as you go in to give it a slightly shiny gleam or whatever effect. Oh yeah, those weren't the only jewelry things I made. I made some other ones that were definitely much more hand drawn. Uh, but those are in um Where are they? They are in the Jewelry Editions assets. Yeah. Gems, jewelry. Oh yeah, did the earrings, did I have them improved? I might have. Oh, these look fucking, these are so small. They look fucking awful with they look fucking terrible when you try to view them in this stupid whatever Microsoft fucking Microsoft image viewer thing. When you zoom in, they just get all fucked up. Is there a better way to show them then? I forget. Uh, I forget. But I had some help from another artist, person that does a lot more art in the modding community with like some of the stuff. Like, I got some constructive criticism on like some of the shading and how to make the gold color look more like gold instead of like whatever it was, giving it more of like a natural kind of color, I guess. With it makes the gleam come out more or whatever, make it look more like gold instead of like some brass or some shit. Um, but the main things that I added outside of that image I was showing earlier was these armlets, which I made like a flower one. An armlet being, I guess, I was just looking up like what kind of jewelry people wear, and in this case, it would be like something that would go around your uh not your tricep, but your bicep, I guess, like your upper arm. It would be like a jewelry that would be like wrapped around your upper arm. I don't think many people really wear those, in all honesty. But I figure, people in certain parts of like medieval, I don't know, not so much that, like nobility kind of bullshit might wear that kind of stuff as a set as accessories. But these ones I pretty much hand drew the art or whatever you want to say. I just kind of did one shape and then I just flipped it a bunch. In general, I think it came out okay. It looks sort of like a flower. I think you could believe that. And the snake one was pretty difficult for me, at least. It was one that I was like, I just did it by reference of someone, and I just tried to make something that I would imagine would look like it. I did get a fair amount of help on this one from that person on the Discord, uh, cause it looked very flat. It looked very flat originally, so I forget what they did. They when they changed the color, it made it, when they gave me criticism on the color, it started to look a lot better, like a lot less like weirdly flat yellow. Um, as well as more intense shadowing on the supposed to be like inner parts of the thing. So it gave it more of like a sort of like 3D look, or at least it looks like it has two sides to it or some shit, if you know what I mean. Like it wraps around in a way. Um, yeah, it's still pretty ugly, but I was pretty happy generally how that came out, especially with all the different like gemstone eye variants. Some look better than others, obviously. Some of the colors. See, there's that. Uh, I think this is some of the iterations of some of the shit I've been hand drawing. This was the original dragon's tongue that I tried to make, and I made it in reference of some kind of plant. It's like that plant that has like a really big fucking, I forget what the hell the plant is called. Proboscis, not a proboscis. I don't know what the fuck it's called. The main mating part, where the pollen and the genetic like material and pollen and shit is kind of like distributed on, like basically the dick of the plant, the dick of the flowers, the female and the male parts. And yeah, this looks very much like a dick. And that plant does have like that kind of fucking shape, that's for sure. But then he redid it to do that other kind of dragon's tongue sort of thing. But yeah, what did it? This is my foxglove or some shit. That was my original one I tried to make, where it's like the petal or the uh the flowers that have like that weird like um jug jug look or whatever. I forget what the fuck the word is. Goddamn. Interesting flowers. I don't know. Weird looking flowers. Ooh, fuck. Stupid shit. Fucking. Uh. You know, it's fucked up. Is wouldn't be surprised if the majority of these are just stupid, like AI generated nonsense, which it probably is looking at some of them. Yeah, definitely. Oh, fuck. Oh, I guess I did name it Foxglove plant. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is what I was trying to do. This kind of thing where it's like a bell. Yeah, I guess that'd be the name, like a bell shape. Um, Obviously it didn't look very great. Uh, but that was the attempt. And what was this other one? I think that was just like a I don't know, I think just I don't know, I didn't even know if I had a name for the reference, but it was like a flax plant? Maybe yeah, it might have been flax flower. I think so. I yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm almost certain it was something like this that I tried to reference it from. Probably some shit like this. Maybe not that one. Maybe one that was a little bit flatter looking. Yeah, probably something like this. I probably tried to take it from reference like that for like a flax flower. Um, this was the petals and stuff, and in the end, I was fairly happy with how it came out. And I don't know what the other one was supposed to be. Just fucking some kind of flower. I don't know why I didn't put the name. I think this was my original attempt at this like grouping of mushrooms or some shit. It looks pretty bad. It really fucking this stupid image viewer fucking sucks ass, dude. It makes it look everything look like shit when it's this low resolution at least. This is all from the original game. Sprites from the original game. As you can see, these mushrooms. I took these two primarily as like the base for a lot of other mushroom things that I drew. There's that stuff. What else? What else? What else? Like all the alchemy ingredients and shit, the drugs, the flowers. Oh, yeah, that was it. Columbine, or whatever, however you say the word, flower. Columbine flower. I tried to make something like this. Probably some shit like this I was trying for. Fennel flower. It looks a lot more interesting. That the one that I made looks terrible. Fennel flower. Yeah, it was like something like this kind of the weird thing where it kind of like splits off into like almost like a fractal almost when you think about it. Not exactly, but it is kind of like a fractal plant in a way. And that's what I was trying to make with that. The flax flower, his dragon's tongue. His came out pretty good. His came out pretty good with that. What was this? Wild. This one I just kind of like took from a few things and recolored a little bit. Wild bergamot. Yeah, some shit like that. What I was trying to go for with this. Passable. But once again, that was already from the original game, just kind of Frankenstein together. Yeah, the Columbine, yeah, that one I was pretty happy with. Flax flower, I was happy with that too. Even though it doesn't look like the petals the petals don't look they look all combined even though they shouldn't be. I had trouble trying to kind of like make it look Like they were all separate, sort of. Is this another? Oh, this was just, I think, a recolor. Yeah. Okay, original sprite. Fruits. Yeah, I made a fucking. What the hell is this? A banana. I used like a fucking werebore husk sprite, and then I just changed it to try and make it look like a fucking banana or some shit. Blackberry, blueberry, grapes. That was from like Dragon Scales and some other shit. Just a lot of Frankenstein stuff. Um, believe the same with like this pear, kind of. It was just like a modified version of whatever. However, this orange and shit came from, which I don't believe were necessarily from the original game. They did have like an apple and an orange, but I probably did like sort of that hand drawn attempt on those. Jewelry, misc. Yeah, it was like a bunch of fucking shit. It was a bunch of shit. And yeah, I had, what the fuck was this? Sex toys. Just stuff that I saw in game that I was like, this would probably work for like some fucking weird dungeon, fucking sex dungeon shit or something, like handcuffs and this blindfold thing. This thing was supposed to be like a belt or something, but I was just like, just make it a blindfold. Because I just drew like this fucking little thing, this looked like a fucking dildo or some shit. Looks fucking awful. These were from original sprites in the game, and I just modified the shaft part. So they took away the NPC that was wielding it. I made it so I filled in the spots that their hand was basically. I think, I believe. Plants, blah blah blah. Just some slight modifications of most of this, mostly. Um, yeah, I think that's most of that stuff I did in that project I was doing or whatever uh that fork that fork. Um, Now where are some of the more recent stuff I made? Where are some of the more, let me think. Um, some of the more recent stuff I made, I guess would be this shit. So I don't think I did too much sprite stuff in many of my recent mods. Um, Trimble armor, no. Repair tools, yes, but those I did a little bit. Yeah, this is mostly just reasonable blood. I just did some editing of like some of the corpse textures to take out some of the blood. Just little modifications and shit. Nothing too huge. Most of my stuff was just taking something that already existed, like a sprite or something, and just modifying it. Whatever you call that. Kleptomania. I don't think I necessarily added. I did add stuff, but I'm trying to remember. No, maybe all that. I think all that stuff mostly was from the original game. Uh, I guess I did. Yeah, I've done UI window stuff. Pretty much some of it fairly custom. Like locked loot containers, I put a lot of like custom shit into. Uh, that's not a nice way to look at this stuff. Wish it would give me I forget how it does that. Uh, Sort by view. See details, large. Okay, yeah. Something like that. These are, once again, a lot of modified from the original game shit. Like these scrap things I just kind of took from like a plate vest and like tried to make it look like it was all fucked up. It's broken arrow. I just took an arrow and like split it in half and then tried to make it look all mangled and stuff. That came out alright. But once again, just a modification of an existing sprite. Almost all of these are that. These chest sprites, same shit, modification. This was like this lock, this padlock. I did that by hand, that padlock. This chest, it looks like I did it by hand, but that's actually from a sprite in the original game. Amazingly enough, it was like from some guy standing on it with his foot or some shit. Looks pretty ugly, honestly. But the padlock, that sprite I did myself. I drew myself or whatever from reference of something. And this other stuff, these UI windows, most of them are from basically all of them are from the original game. I just modified them heavily to for my purpose, but then I just put them all together in this custom like UI thing to be used as I was. Same thing with this. Um, what's my most oh, I did some more other shit like that. What the fuck was it? This the windows. I'm trying to remember. But once again, yeah, it's just a modified and cobbled together um, version of stuff that was in the original game for the most part, with a few modifications. What is this? Yeah, there's that. That's for the equipment. That. I have some screenshots of like the examples of it and stuff. Of this UI actually in being used in game with the code actually drawing the text and the items and shit into the GUI spaces and stuff. Um, where did I have? I drew like some little tiny sprites for like some GUI graphics. Why the fuck don't I have them on here or up here? Maybe I have them here somewhere. I think. Let me find them. Why would I put them here? I might have. GUI sprites. No. Not that. I think it's probably in here. Coding repository. Uh, physical combat overhaul. Anything? No. Probably this. Physical combat. Uh, where is it? Kleptomania. What the fuck, man? Where is it? Oh, maybe? No. Uh, other game texture resources. Useful DFU modding notes. No, where the fuck did I put this shit? I have. Oh, I know. I know. Uh, whoops. I mean to close out everything. I know Spriteworks stuff. Physical combat, I believe this is it. Yeah, I was just here, but I don't know if I put yeah, I did. I did. Yes, not this stuff, but this stuff. Okay. This stuff was all custom made by reference to some extent, but it was all custom made. It's very hard to see, so it's kind of pointless to show it or try to show it. Extra, yeah, that doesn't do shit. Details. That doesn't do shit either. Nice. Thanks. Windows. But yeah, just these little like UI icon things, like an up arrow, an up green arrow, a down red arrow for ascending, descending, a check mark. How small were these? I forget. Yeah, like 11 by 8. This percentage sign, 9 by 8. The shield icon looks more like a fucking like a sprite from some like shoot 'em up or something. Top down shoot 'em up. Sword button icon. This little sword. This one was actually came out pretty cute. How fucking tiny is it? Yeah, 8 by 8. And then this X mark. 7 by 7. Yeah, really tiny fucking shit. Um, that was like some of the more recent pixel art stuff that I did actually. Something that I tried to make was this was literally just me like playing pretty much. I don't know why I wanted to make like some cool weapon sprites or something. And I basically tried to make the whirlwind axe from WoW. WoW whirlwind axe. Yeah, I basically tried to make this the whirlwind axe and make it a usable or a sprite for Daggerfall Unity's paper dolls. That was the reference image. Uh, and this was like the rough draft. This the shaft or the wooden like part that was originally from the game, and I was just working within this space that would basically allow it to fit on the sprite on the paper doll or whatever. So it's kind of limited by that to an extent. But that part is from the game originally. But the head part I took out, and that's the thing that I was trying to make. And this is like the rough shaping that I did, and it looks really fucking bad. When I look at it, like this this rough draft part looks really shit. But then I was able to make it actually look not too terrible with some effort after a while and reshaping a little bit. And this was like almost the final product that I was like that. That's at least the spot that I stopped and just didn't feel like doing that anymore on this particular thing. But I think it actually came out pretty decent. For like my first attempt at some shit like that. Let's see if it how it looks in GIMP. Oops, don't do that. Yeah, that's yeah. I was pretty happy with it for the most part, though. The fucking shading and stuff was getting pretty hard at some part. Like at some parts that it just didn't like. I wasn't happy with it. Um, and some parts of the shape, like I was okay with this, but then this one looks fucking like ridiculous. This I don't know what the like the main like fucking spin like, shape or whatever. It's fucking weird looking, dude. Uh, where's the reference image again? No, it's not it. Yeah, this like but I think you can see like I couldn't make this go out farther even though in the reference image it does. Just because that was like the extent of the size that I was allowed to kind of work with in this particular instance. So I couldn't make that go out farther. So it kind of makes this one look way bigger than the rest of them. Uh, yeah, and this shape is just fucking weird, honestly. But yeah, I was pretty happy with how that came out. Not, I didn't even use this. Like, it definitely would need more work. But for the shading, I was pretty happy with some of it, and the kind of shape in the end, how it shaped up after some refinement, I guess. This was some other shit. Oh yeah, I made what the fuck was this? I was trying to make like a chisel or something. This was I think this is pretty much hand drawn for the most part from purely from reference. Um and yeah, it looks more like a fucking dick than anything, but you know, I think it gets the job done to look like some kind of chisel or some shit. Uh what the hell? Oh yeah. Okay, that's probably the main last thing that I plan on showing for this at least. This was from, yeah, that. Kleptomania, I didn't, yeah, I just used like one or two things there. Color palette, that's the color palette for the game. Yeah, I guess this is the main one. Last thing that I kind of have to show is, so in Arena, in Elder Scrolls Arena, they have um they have a bunch of shields, and you get you get what is it? You get the buckler, you get the round shield, I believe, the kite shield, and the tower shield. And each one of those has a different sprite based on if the character is a male or a female. So it's like there's basically 8 variants of these shields graphics. Um, and some of them, let's see, where's base shields? Yeah, like that's the buckler for the male. That one looks like ass. I don't know why they fucking use that for the fucking the Daggerfall. I guess because probably the angle that it's at. That looks like ass. Fucking looks terrible if you ask me. This is the female one. That one looks better. It's like definitely not the angle they would want to use. The male one, it's fucking obviously looked like they took a fucking picture from something and just like some kind of fucking like metal album or some shit. The female one, like I like the female ones in almost all the cases because they all look pretty hand drawn. Not like reference of like some actual like thing or some shit like a fucking prop on a stage or something. But yeah, these are the 8 shield variants in Arena, and Daggerfall actually just reused a bunch of them. Well, when I say a bunch, actually, not really. Okay, they used 2. They reused 2 of them. They reused the buckler sprite for here, and they used the shape of the tower shield from here, but they didn't do any of the extra design like this on here, like this dragon or whatever. They took all that out, so it looks really boring in the vanilla game, I think. And the round and the kite shield, I guess they made some custom sprites for those for the actual for Daggerfall instead of reusing anything. But yeah, these are the ones from Arena. And let's see if Daggerfall has any examples on their wiki. Probably not. That they might. No, no, no. That's a pretty shit article. Pretty shit article. Weapons, armor. No, they're Daggerfall fucking the Daggerfall wiki, UASP wiki is not all of it, but a lot of it is pretty garbage. But yeah, this is the vanilla one. Looks better than the one in Arena. To be fair, it looks a lot like more smoothed out and everything. But it still kind of looks like ass. I think the kite shield looks all right. Um, that's the vanilla kite shield. The round shield, it looks all right too. It works. And the outside part, it gets changed based on what material that it's made out of. I think maybe the inside too, I forget. But definitely the outside parts gets changed based on the material it's made out of. So this, if it was Daedric, it'd be red and shit. But steel is the default. And this is what, yeah, the tower shield looks like by default. And they just took it. It doesn't look terrible. It's just it doesn't look nearly as cool as the arena one because it's got that cool fucking like dragon design on it and stuff. But yeah, I was gonna make this a mod, but I decided not to. At least not now, just because I couldn't easily make it so you could have the both the vanilla variant if you wanted to and this custom ones, the visual variants or whatever. So I just said I'll just wait until I could do that. Fuck it, because I didn't want to just make just straight up replacements, even though that probably would work. I was just kind of feeling lazy, I guess. In all honesty, I might do that, but I haven't really had the desire to recently. Oh yeah, I was gonna make female and male variants, but I decided like the main ones that I liked were just a few of them. Like I thought that stupid the one round shield looked like ass for the male. Like this one just looks fucking stupid. If you ask me, it just looks dumb. Look, it really looks just straight up like they just took a picture of like some fucking. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. They just took some picture of some like metal fucking out what do they call that? Vinyl record or some bullshit, and then just put like a thing on the outside or something. It looks fucking stupid. This tower shield looks very bare bones for the female. Um, oh yeah, these are all the color variants for all the vanilla shields. Oops, I did that all for my own reference mostly, and to showcase it for comparison's sake. Um, but yeah, there was that. That one I couldn't. Making faces on like a low resolution is surprisingly fucking hard, like in a specific shape and at angles. Like I tried to do this one. I tried and I just fucking gave up. I was like, oh, I can't fucking make this work at this like skewed perspective or whatever. Not just straight on. Like that is fucking hard. I think yeah, I tried here. I tried and I didn't try very hard, clearly, but I did try, and I was just like, I can't fucking make it look not terrible. I just said, fuck it. I just gave up on that. Um, but this was, yeah, let's see. So I did the buckler last. I'll just show that one because it looked the shittiest. I just could not, I wanted to find, this is like the main reference I was going for like some kind of buckler that I was going for, and I tried to take something from like Diablo, like this, like the Diablo buckler sprite, and I just couldn't really make it look great. Just changing the colors just straight from that. Um, so I used this as a reference and just downscaled it and did a little bit of like modifying it, and it looks fucking pretty terrible. It looks pretty terrible, not gonna lie. Um, but I did try, I guess. But yeah, it looks pretty fucking bad. But the ones that I'm actually happy with how they came out were the kite shield, which was based on the male kite shield from Arena, and I just used the vanilla kite shield sprite as the base, and I just kind of added the colors. Um, I just added the colors and the patterns and stuff. And I was pretty happy how it came out, honestly, and the different color variants and shit. Color, yeah, the color variants and stuff. Like I think this is iron, yeah, like top left to top right, iron, steel, silver, elven, dwarven, mithril, adamantium, ebony, orcish, and daedric. And yeah, I think obviously the Elven looks the best because that's probably that's what the original sprite looked like with that kind of like white and red. Well, this one actually fucking the original. It's fucking like a blue. It's like a bluish white. It's weird. It's not even like white. I don't know what the hell is going on there. Probably some color palette bullshit. But I was pretty happy with how that came out. The female round shield version I did. I took this as the main reference from the original game. It was just a uh straight looking whatever you call it, like straight on view. And then I modified that based with the base round shield as the base. And I just did that. I just tried to skew the angle as best as I could, or whatever the view. And I was actually very happy how this came out. Probably the one that I liked the most. I just kind of cut off those little spikes on the ends, even though it looks pretty bad. But I wanted it to be like much more round than it was without the spikes. I think they just took away from it. But I could have made the polish those up better to make them look better. But I had trouble working with the edge parts and shit. I mostly just wanted to focus on the actual design on the face of the shield. And this does it, this still, like, it's hard, it doesn't give the exact illusion that you're looking at it from, like, a skewed perspective, like the original kind of does. But it's at least sort of there. Like, you could kind of be fooled, but you could tell that it's still more on the, as if you're viewing it straight on kind of thing. So it looks kind of funny. But I'm really happy with how, like, these color patterns came out on the top left side, especially. And the eagle thing came out pretty okay. But I really liked how the color patterns looked. Like, that was a really interesting, especially with the different materials. I like how that pattern came out. And then the last one is the tower shield that I like so much. Tower shield design, which is like this fucking. I thought it was a griffin, but I think it makes much more sense that it's a dragon. Like, it made me think of like a griffin from like WoW or some shit. But yeah, it's supposed to be like a dragon, I'm sure, because it's got like fire and shit as well. Um, but I had to change it slightly, the colors, because it didn't. Arena had a different color palette than Daggerfall, so I had to change some of it, and it does make some of it look uh not as good in some ways. Like, I think the dragon looks more like a dragon, but certain parts of it are kind of like taken away as well. But then again, I think the flames are like the coolest part, just because they look so nice with the different color variants. Like, I think this looks really good. Um, like the fucking, like, just all the colors, they look like very striking from each other, I guess. Like, you could fairly easily tell most of them apart to some extent. But yeah, I like how this came out a lot. The iron, steel, silver, elven, dwarven, mithril, uh, adamantium, ebony, orcish, daedric. Yeah, I like how those came out. I think those look a lot cooler than the vanilla fucking design and shit. Oh god. I think that's the main like sprite stuff that I could think of outside of like more just like UI shit that I've worked on. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, when you're in GIMP or whatever, like, I don't have like a drawing tablet or anything, so I was basically just using the pencil tool with like one, not, yeah, actually really most of the time just like 1 pixel width, like the smallest possible, and then just like going around with like full opacity and stuff, and just drawing it with the fucking mouse. And I know people can do some pretty good shit using the mouse and everything, but yeah, it's definitely not the prettiest. And the undo phenomenon that we talked about, or like the erasing your mistakes and then like constantly doing it, I've definitely experienced that when I'm working on some of this shit. Just like undo, 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 undo every fucking time you make one stroke, undo, one stroke, undo, one stroke, undo. It's fucking it is fucked up to keep doing that. Um, but yeah, this little showcase went on longer than it needed to, I think. But maybe Rudy or somebody might find it interesting. But man, it is fucking stuffy in here. But oh well. At least it's getting darker out, so maybe it'll cool down a little bit. I'll probably put on the blower motor fan just to get some air circulating in the house. But yeah. I probably will if I feel like it in a few days. I'll probably, maybe even today, I don't know, try and do some drawing practice and stuff like you did with the figure eight shit, trying to use your arm and shoulder and stuff. Oh yeah, maybe I could talk about that. Some of the things I was thinking of was like, if I want to draw like not just objects, it probably would be some of the first things I try, shit like fucking uh it's like probably like Toho characters or some shit, just because I like a lot of their designs. I find them very cute, and appealing visually. I like the smug like fucking monster girl looking shit with the fang or whatever you'd even call that. Like the teeth are all fucking sharp teeth and stuff. I like that design. Um, who else? Some of the other ones. I mean, there's a bunch. There's a bunch of cool designs in Toho's roster of characters. Um, what were some of the other things? I'm forgetting. It's surprisingly hard to think of stuff that you'd want to draw, but I guess it also comes down to stuff that you psych yourself out because you're just like, oh man, I shouldn't draw that because it's gonna come out ugly, and that's like the biggest fucking stupid thing that you have to get over, and I have to get over it. I know that, especially with hand drawing, because I know it's gonna look terrible, but you just can't attach your ego. You just can't attach your fucking ego to it. That's how to keep the um. That's how to progress. You just gotta not attach your ego to that shit. Take it, draw it, scrap it, throw it away, burn it, whatever. After the fact, was there anything else? No, I don't think so. I mean, it's gone on for more than an hour. Somehow, I always do that. But yeah, if anybody found this interesting, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I might play Chrono Trigger tonight. I don't know. I'm not really not fit. I'm probably gonna go to bed and like fucking early tonight if it's gonna be all this fucking hot. Um, Maybe at like 10 p.m. I don't know, but I'll just have to see. I guess record part 26 of Chrono Trigger possibly. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe I'll see, but yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and take care.